So, good morning. Thank you for being the fourth guest of Lead the Way Pod. Would you be able to introduce yourself?
Of course, Owen. Yeah, so my name's Louis. I'm the founder of a mental health awareness brand. I'm on a mission to empower men to take five and give men that moment of self-reflection every single day.
This video is sponsored by Promo Water. Let me tell you a bit more about Promo Water. Promo Water is a brilliant branded canned water service company which is eco-friendly, stylish, and perfect for making your mark while helping the planet. Minimal transport miles, making them a fantastic option for organisations serious about reducing their plastic footprint. Sustainability has never looked so stylish, whether it's for corporate events, festivals, or even giveaways. These sleek cans are your secret weapon to marketing your brand. Choose Promo Water, the refreshing way to stand out. Click the link below to get started and read more about Promo Water. How do you aim to do that?
Very good question. So I talk very openly, first and foremost, about my own mental health journey. I think it's very important as someone who wants to make a difference. I feel as though it's not spoken about enough. As vulnerable as it can be to talk about my own mental health journey, if I talk about it, I know that it's going to help other people. And in turn, it helps me because if I talk about my journey and someone comments and says, thanks, I need to see that today, it also reminds me that even though I know that I'm not alone, it does give me that reminder of this is why I do what I do, and I'm not alone in that. So I talk very openly about my mental health journey. I want to give back as much as I can. So again, that's why we donate proceeds of every sale to mental health charities. This month in particular, we're donating 10% of sales to Mind because Mind's a very important charity to me on a personal level. So this month of January, it's a very long month. And it's also like, especially with like Blue Monday, like one of the saddest days of the year, I really want to try and make a difference and give back as much as I can. So this month in particular, we're doing it 10% of every sale, but mainly talking about my own mental health journey, sparking those conversations, building community and creating connections with other people. So it's why I go live a lot on TikTok. It's how we find each other. It's why I try and tell my story in the hope that it inspires others to see that they're not alone. And it's why the cleanser itself is called Take Five. So I want to give men that daily reminder because sometimes we're trying to spin so many different plates all the time, but we're not actually putting the time aside for ourselves to take five. And I think I experienced a lot of that during lockdown, so 2020, 2021, where everyone was in the same boat. So we're all in the same four walls, we're all struggling a lot. And it was very, very difficult because I had seen myself go from this really extroverted person to quite introverted. And I wouldn't say necessarily scared of going outside, but my perception of going outside and interacting with others just completely changed. And it made me think, like, I wonder how many other people think like the same way that I do. And then I think in my head, I was like, I really want to make a difference in this because the amount of times I felt burnt out and experiencing anxiety in physical form and physical symptoms that I didn't know were anxiety at the time, that was as a result causing even more anxiety. I think it doesn't get spoken about enough. So I wanted to build a brand and talk openly about it. I think it just doesn't get spoken about enough. And by doing that, I can be a voice and a reminder for people that conversations they need to be had and it's not weak for asking for help. It's actually strength in that. So that's sort of where it comes from. That's sort of like why I do what I do and the aim that I'm on with it as well.
I think it's quite incredible because we found each other on TikTok Live, didn't we? And when I
Yes.
found you, I'm pretty sure I was going through my GCSEs. I was struggling quite a bit with my mental health. I was like everyone does with their, any major
Yeah,
exams,
yeah.
anxiety, stress. So I found you at the right time, and I remember
Mm,
buying your cleanser, and it was great.
I love that. Yeah, and do you know what as well? Because first of all, thank you, and it means a lot to me as well, especially as a small business owner. And like I was saying to you before, like it's very inspiring to because you actually when I first saw you and you were talking about your mental health journey on my TikTok live streams, like first of all, that's like one of the reasons why I do what I do because I think it gives you that platform where you don't know who you didn't know who I was at the time, but you felt comfortable to talk about it there and then. Whereas some people don't feel comfortable to talk about it in person. It gives people that feeling of, oh, I'm not alone. And even if people just sit in the live stream and just don't say anything, but they see other people talking and they can see that they're not alone in it, it gives them that comfort. And I've noticed that along the journey as well. Because I mean, you've messaged me after my live streams as well, especially, and so many people have done the same thing. And it's actually one of the reasons why this year in particular, I want to focus a lot on schools. Because I think I experienced very similar to what you did during year 11. Yeah, so year 11. and especially sixth form, a lot of stress, a lot of pressure to do well in my exams, but it was very detrimental to my own mental health. I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was very, very burnt out. I didn't enjoy my final school years as I should have because I was so focused on getting good grades. And if I didn't get good grades, then I had failed school. It just wasn't the case. And I think a lot of students, like you said, go through that very big pressure and not really know how to channel that feeling. So when I saw you on the live streams, it made me think, you know what? I think I need to do more talks in schools. And it's actually one of the things that I've started looking at literally last week. So I actually got in touch with a few schools last week in my local area because I want to try and do more talks, especially as we head into the periods, like I said, like GCSEs, A levels. It's very heavy and it can be really stressful because we worry that there's so much pressure to do well, even if that can help take the pressure off and help people, talk about that feeling. Because sometimes we're so busy trying to do well and revise, we're not giving ourselves that moment of, I need to talk about how I feel right now because I'm feeling so overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm going around schools as well to do motivational talks. So I'm glad
Oh,
great minds think alike, clearly.
mm, I
Um,
love that.
yeah, because obviously GCSEs and stuff are coming up, and I want people to know that regardless of your results, it doesn't define you as a person. Like you
Mm,
can achieve, like, Bill Gates, Simon Squibb, loads of big entrepreneurs, like
mm.
failed at school, and look where they are now. It
Yeah.
doesn't define you, and you should be proud of whatever you achieve.
No, I agree. I think I did okay in school. I didn't do too bad. But I thought at the time I was thinking, oh my goodness, like everything I got here, that's gonna be my future. Like that's gonna be my golden ticket. But in actual fact, it hasn't been. I had a job for five years. It was an apprenticeship for 5 years. Didn't work out, got made redundant in December. And I'm okay with that because it wasn't the calling that I was destined to go down. Like it was, it was a door that had to be closed. And I agree. I think there is a lot of pressure on exams sometimes, and it's almost like reminding students that like regardless of what you get, like it's going to be like be proud of the journey, almost enjoy the journey. I think it's the most important thing. I'd never say that exams aren't. I'd never say that exams are useless because that's not true. But I think it's really important to remind people of like enjoy the journey and the process of it, and like help people to see like they're not alone in it on the journey. I think exams are important, but they're not the be all and end all. Like you said, yeah, I know what you mean.
I would obviously highly recommend any student to check out Clear for Men, just to take five.
Take
Hopefully I can
five, that's
say
it.
that.
Yeah, of course you
Yeah,
can.
but yeah, tell them to take five. Take time for themselves. That's what I done, and it really helped me with my
Yeah,
exam stress, and I came out with relatively good grades. Fortunately. And owning a business at 17 and doing college as well. It's not easy, but
no,
it but if you're passionate enough about it, you will do it. Do you have a
yeah.
bottle of your cleanser nearby to show
Oh,
the audience or?
I will go and get one now quickly for you. Yes, can you see it okay there? Is that
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, so that I mean that's why it's called Take Five to give that daily moment of self-reflection like we spoke about. And I think it's also like and a lot of people said the same thing to me, and it's kind of like where I've realized over the past few years, I focus a lot more on the why I do what I do. So like I said, like going into schools, going into workplaces, going into businesses and talking openly about my mental health journey, because it creates that sense of community in your own business. So like I like to give an example. So I did a talk at Airbus on National Suicide Prevention Day in September last year. And I'm not sure whether you're aware of it. I think it's called like Mentimeter. It's like an anonymous questionnaire type thing. So basically you scan the QR code and then you can answer questions that are on the board, but they're anonymous. So like for instance, I would say like, oh, what does mental health mean to you? Or how do you take five? Or is there a question you want to ask, but you're not comfortable to ask that right now? And I think it was about 8 questions that were put through, people who didn't want to answer them there and then. And the more and more I answered the questions, the more and more questions came through. And I think it just shows that sense of community that's then created of like, oh, we don't know what's going on in anyone's life right now, even though we work side by side with them every single day. And that really highlights that important thing of like, we have to just be kind. If we can do anything, it's be kind and to spark the conversations and go for coffees with people and go for walks And really, I just think it's so important. And I think especially from a personal level, like I have found it so difficult to talk openly about my mental health journey with a lot of people in my life. But since doing it online and building connections with people like yourself, I have it now where people in my life feel more comfortable to talk about theirs. And it's almost like that it's come full circle where before I felt like no one spoke about it because the stigma that's attached to it, and now everyone talks about it because they don't feel alone in it. And I think that's really, really important. And it's why Take Five is what it is, why I do what I do. And it's a lot of people say to me, I don't see you as a skincare brand anymore. And I was like, yeah, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, I agree. I don't just see myself as a skincare brand. I see myself as that key person who can really help make change, help be a driving force for that change as well. So, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. I don't see myself as just being a skincare brand. I see myself as really helping to make a big impact in the world of mental health. So I just think it's so important. And if someone can talk about it, we can help raise money for these really important charities that are doing fantastic work and also help others to see that they're not alone in it. And I think that's just really, really important.
What I also love as well about when you're like posting videos of packing orders, like how you wrote me a personal note. I'm not sure if you still do
Yeah.
that for every order,
Yeah, I do that every order.
but
Yeah.
that's a really nice touch. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's incredible that you do that because obviously if you order from say Amazon or something like that, they're just rushing to get the orders out of
Out.
the
Yeah.
warehouse. But what you're
Yeah.
doing is you're taking time, and I'm sure I, that's what I would personally pay for, to be honest. That
Yeah.
just that note.
I think, do you know what? It's funny you should say that because I actually spoke to someone the other day and they were saying, because they bought a few cleansers for a few of the people they work with. And they actually said the handwritten note is such an added gesture that you don't realize. And in my head, I'm thinking that note probably, yeah, okay, it probably takes me a minute, 2 minutes to really write it down, personalize that note to the person who's buying it. Because obviously, I might have people who are first time customers, I might have people who've been purchasing for the past 2 years. The notes are going to be different. But that in itself, recognizing that every single time that person opens that, they realize that they how valued that person is as a customer. Because I mean, I'm talking to you right now in my office slash warehouse. So everything is literally a converted bedroom, but we all have to start somewhere. And that's what I mean. Like, I can't tell, like, whenever an order comes through, it is that moment of like, yes, like we're doing this and we're making a difference. And on those notes, like I'll remind people like your order is also supporting mental health charities. So it's that feeling of togetherness, that community feeling. And like you said, I think if you like, I remember before when I first started, I didn't used to add notes in my orders. And then I realized, no, 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 I need to do this because I like it when I receive orders. I like it when I receive notes in my order. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, maybe I need to like personalize this a bit more. And then I was like, yes, I need to make a community. So like from starting with just like, yeah, I'm gonna put it in the box and the packaging's enough. It's nice packaging and of course, but it's like adding that extra touch, I think is so, so important. It really is. And like you said, I think it's just that because I think if I remember rightly, correct me if I'm wrong, but because your order was just before your GCSE mock exams, I think. So I think I wrote your personalized note based off your mock exams.
Hmm.
And I think in my head, I look at that and I'm like, I know I'm putting myself in your shoes from a consumer perspective, thinking, how would I feel if I received this note from a brand? It's almost cause for becoming an advocate of that brand. Do you know what I mean? Because like you said, there are so many brands out there that just chuck boxes together and send them out as few as possible, don't really care about them. Whereas like there's so much more to it than that. And I just think that's the beauty of a small business as well, I think.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what I mean?
will be
Yeah.
honest. I've kept your note in my desk drawer so I can just look at it all the
Oh,
time.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
honestly,
that.
it keeps me going. I will be brutally honest.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that.
but you're not the only brand, the small business because I'm pretty sure there's a Into the Eve run by Zoe.
Oh yeah, Zoe.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she puts like a personalized few words in the box as well. So it's great to see that
Yeah.
from you both.
Yeah, no, she's lovely. I've met Zoe a few. I've not actually a few times. I've met Zoe once. She's lovely, and she's got a great brand as well. And that's the thing. It's when you put yourself with like-minded. Because I met Zoe in I think it was actually a few weeks after I met you. So I met her at TikTok, and I remember going over to her, And I was like, hi, really sorry. I was like, I love your brand. I follow it on TikTok. I was like, I never met you before. And she was like, oh my goodness. And then she realized, she said, I forget how like when you go live on TikTok, you forget the people you're gonna, because you never know who you're gonna meet. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, no, I follow you. I was like, you're a huge inspiration of mine. And it's so nice because like it's like the connections you make and I don't know, it's just really nice to see. It's really nice. And like it's like you've built real strong connections with other like-minded business owners. And again, it helps you on that journey. And I just think it's so important and surrounding yourself with those really important people and those people who are going to push you and bring you back when you're really struggling and you feel like you're facing a lot of adversity and struggling. I think it's so important. So yeah,
So
yeah, I
obviously
love that.
you own Clear for Men. So what would you say like the toughest part was of like owning the business and the business where you thought, oh my gosh, this is absolutely incredible. So like the best moment that you've ever had because you mentioned having a strong community. So tell us like
Yeah,
the worst part and the best part you've experienced so far.
that's a very good question, actually. I would say the the worst part, and I wouldn't even say it is a worst part. I just think it's just a thing of business. I think, and that's what I found, is the fear of the unknown, not knowing whether or not what I'm doing is going to pay off. So I think that's a very big thing, even in today, like even where I am today. That worry of, oh, will this post do well? Am I wasting my time doing this when I could be doing this? I think that's a really big thing for me. I'd probably say that is the hardest thing. It's my biggest hurdle, I should say, and I think that then leads to being the worst thing because I become I get wrapped up in my own head, worrying about other things, etc., and that can be really detrimental to me then on a mental health basis, if that makes sense. Because then I'm worrying, and then it causes burnout at that point. So I'm just like I'm overthinking things that I shouldn't. Which I've realized then. So another thing as well is I've taken a lot of the time off for Christmas and taken that needed time to, excuse the pun, but take five for myself and have that time for me. And I've noticed that I need to do things in a different way and trust my instincts more, and try more and fail more. And that's something that I've sort of shifted the perspective. So yeah, it was a bad thing to begin with, and it was hard, but it's getting better. And I'm also using that to an advantage now. So I'm posting a lot more on LinkedIn, interacting more on TikTok. So and really just trying to put myself out there. I'd say that's the hardest thing, and also criticism is a really big thing for me. So criticism's been really hard. I won't lie. Feeling like you're letting people down is a real big thing, or feeling like people don't care about what you do. Again, is another thing. But I'd say my best thing, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be the community growing. I think it's just incredible. So like I mean, I get people in my live streams, like obviously you've joined but like I get people from Norway, like America, Poland, all across the UK, talking in these live streams, and they're talking to other people in the live streams, and you have this real sense of community that's been created. And I just love that we're at the forefront of that, and that we've created a space that really helps that. Like it's like a hub, I suppose. You know what I mean? Like people can come in and like they don't have to speak, but they come in we've just created a community that really helps conversations be sparked. And like you said, it's that reminder to take five. But yeah, I had a review the other day from someone about my cleanser, but they always say it's like this. They always like the amount of reviews that I get that say, I don't just see this as a skincare brand. Like I see this as my daily reflection to pause, and I love it. And all people will say it about their partners, and that's what I absolutely love. So yeah, I think community building is so important, and I'd say that's probably the most positive thing. And my best thing is like seeing how far I've come with that. And another thing I would have to say is maybe I don't know actually. Maybe the thing that happened with QuickBooks a few weeks ago. So I'm not sure whether you saw that. So they invited me up to London a few weeks ago. Oh no, back in November. And we went and we were just filming some content. It was very much like, oh, yeah, do you want to come in for like an hour or two? We're going to film some content with you, and then you're going to go. I was like, yeah, okay, no, that's fine, let's get. And we were chatting or whatever, and then we had two. So one person was filming me, and one person was filming the interviewer. And then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh yeah, we love Clear for Men so much. Like we want to buy £700 worth of cleansers and give them out." And I was like, my mind's like, I just like shut down and just, I was like, what? Are you serious? And they're like, yeah, no, we love it. And again, that happened by going live on TikTok. So I went live on TikTok, met the QuickBooks follow me on Instagram and on TikTok now. And, I'm going back up there in a few weeks to talk more openly, to talk more about like everyone's experience with Clear for Men and hopefully do a mental health talk there as well, which would be really, really impactful. But like those amazing things that happen when you just almost, my mantra at the moment is like feeling the fear and do it anyway. So yeah, I would definitely say that is something up there as well. So yeah, the community building is so important. Like knowing we're making a big impact is such a fulfilling thing for me. And then a really big thing that's happened recently, which I feel really proud of, is that QuickBooks thing. Because that was like that spark. The spark got reignited in me when that happened. Because I think I lost a lot of my setup last year, feeling very burnt out with, like I said, fear of criticism, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown, and it caused me to sort of become a shell of myself a little bit. And then that happened, and I was like, no, I'm doing good things. Like, let's keep going. And that really did help me, especially towards the end of the year as well. So yeah, it was really nice to see.
Yeah, but that really helped the business.
Oh yeah,
How
definitely.
long did it take you to pack all £700 worth of cleansers?
Well, so yeah, so it's well, I mean, I had to do. So I would have done obviously. I think so. £700 worth is 35 cleansers. So I would have. I'm pretty sure I went live the entire time, which is quite nice because again, I can talk to people whilst I'm packing up orders. So I'm pretty sure I went live. When did I do it? I'm not sure what day I did it, but I was packing them up whilst I went live. So I think it probably took me about maybe an hour and a half. I think it did because obviously I was doing them whilst I was on the live. So I was talking to people, but I do the very same thing. So I'll write the personalized note. But obviously the only difference is I won't know who it's being given to. So the one thing I would just say hi instead of saying hi Kyle. Do you know what I mean? Like so I wouldn't put the name on there. But about an hour and a half, about an hour and a half. So it wasn't too long. But it was a fun experience. And then whilst I was packing them up, everyone was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You've got loads of orders, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't tell you just yet, but I'll tell you soon." So that was really exciting.
I bet your heart was exhilarating when you seen that order go through.
Yeah, it was. I put a picture, for enough. I put a picture on Instagram and I put a picture on LinkedIn. Oh no, I haven't. To tell you, like, I've scheduled a post to go on LinkedIn. I've posted on Instagram about the actual order that coming through, and it's really nice as well because like it does. It's like that milestone that like it takes time. Like I remember I was saying, like so when I started in 2022, I started in August 2022, so the very end of August. And between August 2022 to December 2022, I had 20 orders. Like that was it, which averaged out at 5 orders a month. And then I ended 2024 hitting the milestone of 700 orders. And that's just like a reminder that like it does take time and it is hard, but like you almost have to enjoy the process and like not worry about anyone else's journey because like there are going to be people that launch instantaneously and get thousands of orders. There are also going to be people that just take 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get to where they want to be. Doesn't matter. I think as long as, like you said, as long as you have a burning desire and a passion to do what you do, like you just should never worry about anyone else's um, path because that's not what you're on, you know?
No, exactly. So say if there's a potential entrepreneur out there and they want to go into the skincare sector or any business in any form, what advice would you give to them?
Research, research a lot. Don't be afraid of trying things. I think that's a really, really big thing. So, like, I'll give an example. So when I started Clear for Men, when I started working on it, it was actually this time 4 years ago, roughly. I gave myself the New Year's resolution in January 2021 that I want to start building a brand centered around mental health. Didn't know it was going to be Clear at the time, but I wanted to really create an impact on the world of mental health. Just wasn't sure how. And I was almost quite ruthless in like not care. I had this like I would say my most confident time as a business owner was at the beginning because I just didn't care what people thought. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. Like, what have I got to lose at this point? So I would say don't be afraid of failing. Almost accept that it's gonna happen, unfortunately. Setbacks are gonna happen. But they don't define you. Like you're not a failure. I think if anything, it's like really, really inspiring for people to have setbacks and get back up from them because that's the hardest part, I think. So don't be afraid of failing. Enjoy it, enjoy every second of it because it's going to be hard, but it's also meant to be really fun. Like you want to build. It's not all about the money. It's not all about. I think that's just so important. It's not all about the money. It's about the difference you have in the world. So that's another thing. Do your research, um, and plan, and push yourself at your comfort zone every day, even if it's like a small thing. And I think you do that really well because like going on stage at Ideas Fest, that's a huge thing. Posting content on social media, that's a huge thing. Like for me, when I first started Clearman, like I said, I started in August 2022, but I didn't really post a video or anything probably until, and I'm not lying to you when I say this, probably March time 2023. So it took me 7 months to get the courage to do a voiceover video of me on TikTok. That's a long time of waiting. That's a long time. That's 7 months I will never get back. So my one advice would be start small, but start. So if it's a voiceover of you doing these things, try it and slowly build yourself out of your comfort zone, and you will get there. You will get there because now I don't feel anywhere near as camera shy as I used to. And I think I feel like I feel really proud of myself for that because that's something that I know 4 years ago I would have dreaded the thought of doing. So yeah, I definitely would say push yourself out of your comfort zone every day. Small 1% wins every day. Learn, be prepared to fail, but enjoy it and have fun because I just think it's so important. And do something that you love. Start everything that you do. Ask yourself why you're doing it, and if the answer is money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's a big misconcept in the world of business. That like people think, it's just purely money, but it's building a community, making a difference,
Yeah,
actually impacting lives. Like the first, no, I think at Ideas Fest when I went on stage, uh,
yeah,
Sam Squire, the founder or CEO of Inspire to Ignite, received messages from people saying Kyle was so inspirational. He blew our socks off. We had to take a seat and, loads of great messages, which is really great to see that my talking really made an impact. I mean, that was
yeah.
terrific to see. And I'll definitely be there in 2025. It's in Tring again. Will you be there?
I think so. I haven't got my ticket yet. I went to I went to the Great British Entrepreneurial Awards back in end of November, and funny enough, I had a discount code from that because they're the same. They coincide with each other because they're like they're kind of off brand, aren't they? Of
Yeah.
Ideas Fest. Um, I haven't booked my ticket. I know a few people from last year, and we've all said, "Well, we need to buy a ticket." I don't think any of us have bought a ticket yet, so I need to buy one. But this time, yet, I think I bought mine last year. I think I bought mine back in May, so I'll see what happens. But I haven't bought mine yet. But I do want to go back. Is it what? And I think again, that's another thing. So when you saw me, I think I had all that stuff on my face,
You
didn't I?
did. You had
Yeah,
the paint on your face. Yeah.
yeah. So that I was actually saying a few weeks ago. So that time, those 2 days was really refreshing for me because 2 days before that, like a week before that, that's probably the most burnt out I'd been in a very long time. So to come into that place and totally relax and be with like-minded people, but in a very calm way and in a different approach. Because sometimes networking events can be so intense, whereas it was very relaxed, it was very fun, easygoing, and it was just a different experience. And it did. I came home and I said, and so many people said the same thing. Come home feeling so relaxed, but inspired and ready to go. And it was
100%.
yeah, it was something I needed. So yeah.
There is one complaint I have about Ideas Fest. The weather was so terrible.
I know it wasn't good, was it? Day one was terrible weather. It started off well as well, but it just got awful. I know it wasn't great. Hopefully it's different this year. Is it similar time of year? Is it September again?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's
Yeah.
these pretty much similar dates. But I
Yeah.
have to double check. But it
Oh,
really,
nice.
it really was inspirational. Like having all of the small businesses together, and
Yeah.
it was it was so relaxing. As you say, like most sort of networking events can be like uptight and sort
Mm.
of restrictive, but it was so good.
Yeah. I agree. And I think sometimes as well with some networking events, it can be very much like because I spoke to my brother about this a few weeks ago. Sometimes a lot of networking events make you feel as though if you haven't got so many people connected on LinkedIn, then it's become and in my head I'm like, yeah, but there's no value in that. I'd rather have one valued conversation with one person than try and have 60 meaningless conversations with 60 people just for the sake of connecting with them on LinkedIn. But they when we're not providing any value to us, we're just going, oh yeah, that's connected. What's the point? I want to, it's all about making change. So I don't, I, and like I said, I think it could be quite it can be quite intense in that respect. So I think having that calm approach is so much better.
Yeah, so I remember
So
at Ideas Fest, day two, Will Poulter arrived. So
yes,
myself and my friend Luke, we literally ran straight to him as soon as he entered. Can we have a photo, please? Got a photo. But just before I got my photo, I dropped my bag full of samples from the businesses, and he picked it up for me and said, "Here you go, mate. I had a photo done." And then I seen you. You had yours done, and I'm
yeah,
pretty sure you had
yeah,
a box of your cleanser.
I did, I did,
Have you got
yeah.
a response from him or
No,
feedback?
no, I'm still waiting for. I do you know what? Funny enough, I always look. I look every day, and I always try and see if he sent me a message, but he hasn't yet. I'm hoping one day he will, but I can imagine he's a very busy guy. But no, I haven't done anything yet. But that's the thing. It's those moments. You know what I mean? Like it's like a. I remember the woman that I was with at the time. I remember walking because she'd recorded it, and I looked at her and I was like, that was like incredible. Like that was
Yeah.
awesome. And it was like one of those feelings that I was like, that's so like incredible to experience. But no, yeah, I haven't done anything yet, but I'm hopefully soon. I might even message him again actually, but because I haven't messaged him for like 4 months, so maybe a little update is
Yeah.
needed.
I mean, he did have brutal jet lag on day two when he was doing a talk.
He did,
He was
yeah, he
brutally
did,
tired, wasn't he?
yeah, it was.
But did you give Simon Squibb a cleanser, or was it just Will
I
Poulter? Like, how
did.
many did you
I
have?
so I gave one to Simon. I gave one to Will. I believe no, no, sorry, no, yeah, I only gave them to those two. I think I was going with the intention of giving four away. I'm not sure I can't remember who the other two were going to be, but I had an intention of giving four away, and I ended up giving two. So Simon had one on day one, Will had one on day two. I also didn't have enough room in my bag to carry as too many either. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I only gave away the two, if I remember correctly. Yeah, chosen two.
Have you had a response from Simon?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't had a response from Simon, so I'm waiting for that one as well. But no, funny enough, I actually put so I've scheduled a post on LinkedIn. I think it's next week. I think it might be next week. There's a post on there of Simon, and it's a picture of him back at Ideas Fest. Um, it's quite it's basically our conversation that we had because he it's like a reminder. So basically we were speaking and I was showing him everything and I was like, oh yeah, this is my brand. And he was like, have you trademarked Take Five? And I was like, yeah, I have. And then he looked at me and he was like, you're the reason why I couldn't have that. And I was like, yeah. And then the basically the LinkedIn post is like a reminder to trademark anything that you need to trademark because you never know who's going to have it. So yeah, it's quite a funny post actually. It's this picture of me and him. But yeah, I haven't got a response from Simon, but I'm hoping that that post might spark a little response from him. Maybe I don't
It is really hilarious because when he was on a few of his lives, he tries to say take five, and it's like, I can't say that, it's trademarked. And I'm like, yes, I know who by.
know.
It's actually really funny. Um, so what was your reasonings for giving it to Will and Simon? Did you have like a thought in your mind? Like, did you know you wanted to give it to them too? Or was it just anyone that inspires you? Or
Will for me is a huge mental health advocate, so it's that reminder for. So I can only imagine how busy his schedule is. So for me, it was like I want to give him that reminder to take five. Um, he's a huge mental health advocate, and it just aligns very much not just with Clear for Men, but also me as a person. And I want to just like almost give that thanks, I suppose, like gift him that like I'm grateful for the support and work he does for mental health as a whole. And it's like that gift, not just from me, but also from the brand. So that was one of the things for Will, which I think was really, really important. And like you could see in his face as well, he was very grateful for the gesture as well, which is lovely to see. And then for Simon, it was more again, I suppose it's the same thing. So it's very similar. So a very busy guy, giving him that reminder to take five. But I think for me, it was more. I think when I went to Ideas Fest, I was very much in my own head. So I was trying to like imposter syndrome was at an all-time high. I kind of wanted someone who knew what they were talking about to be almost quite not brutally honest, but like give me some constructive criticism and how I can improve. And I said to him, like, this is my brand. Like, what do you think about it? And he was like, no, I love it. Like, I love the brand. I love everything about it. He was like, And then I like, told him what I do. So I go live on TikTok, I do all these things. And he's like, yeah, you just need to keep doing what you're doing because you're doing incredible things. And I think that almost gave me that confidence again. So a lot of things from Ideas Fest did really help me to become more confident in myself and believe in what I'm doing, which I think is really, really important. So that was for Simon, it was more like, this is for you. Take five. Thank you for everything that you do for everyone. What do you think? Like, what do you think of it? And to have that feedback was really, really nice because I was worried. I was worried that maybe I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know what that was. And I almost needed someone to say to me what that might be. So for him to say, no, you're on the right path, just keep going. It was that, it was that, I never seek external validation, but I think maybe it was that reminder for myself to stop trying to seek external validation because you're doing well. So stop getting in your own head and keep going. So that was kind of the reason why for Simon as well.
So, do you plan to speak at Ideas Fest 2025, maybe on stage or anything like that?
Do you know what? I haven't thought of it. There is someone else who was there in 2024 who actually said the exact same thing. So I remember you saying to me at Ideas Fest last year about, oh, I'll be you this time next year. And someone else said the same thing. I haven't got in touch with them. Maybe I could do that. I don't know. But yeah, I think maybe that might be a good thing because I think burnout is really, really big, especially in the world of business. So maybe that is something we could talk about. Maybe I could email them and pitch them my idea. That might be a good idea. But I haven't thought about it too much. But maybe I'll see about that. Maybe I'll get in touch with them. So do you think that might be really impactful?
I can send you the organizers' details if you wish, and then you
Oh
can
yeah,
actually message
yeah.
them.
Let's do it. Yeah, nice one, man. Thank you very much.
No, of course. I'd love to see you on stage. But
Yeah,
it's
appreciate that.
yeah, it's incredible, and I know it will help a lot of people. Um,
Yeah,
but thank you for everything you do.
appreciate it, man. No, of course. And again, like it's one of those things where I do it for. I don't do what I do for me. I do it. There's a part of it that I do it for me because I love what I do, so it's very fulfilling in that respect. But because I'm starting, my front foot going forward is helping others, and I literally said this yesterday to someone. I I've always loved helping people, always loved supporting people in any way that I can, and it's like that's my why, like I love it, and I'm really passionate about that, and like I've always been a people person. So like I was saying to you earlier, like when I became introverted during the lockdown periods, I like realized that like it almost wasn't me. Like I was becoming a shell of myself. And like to this day, I'm like do they call it like an is it called like an extroverted introvert? I'm not sure what it's called. But like someone who I'm 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 better now, but I'm not as I used to be. But that's okay. I'm also okay with that. But yeah, I just love what I do, and I think it's really important. The message is important behind it. So yeah, I just love being able to make a big difference and really bring a smile and happiness to other people. I think it's really, really important.
And you've really achieved that. As I said, I'll leave my note in my drawer just to look at. But thank you for your time. I really do
No,
appreciate it.